Welcome everyone to Bajaj Allianz Life Insurance Life Goals Heroes Talks. Today we have a truly inspiring guest, Mr. Vishesh Gandhi, an engineer and an MBA by qualification, a wealth consultant by profession, and a true believer in holistic financial planning. Vishesh now manages a sizable AUM across multi financial assets and has helped hundreds of families secure their future financially. Welcome, Vishesh.
Thank you very much for having me here.
So, everyone must be tuned in to know your story, Vishesh. And you mentioned that you come from a business background. So, what made you take up your own path instead of joining your family trade?
Actually, there are multiple reasons. First, of course, as we all say, circumstances and situations, drag you to something which you have never planned.
Right.
So exactly what happened, my dad was into a textile business.
Okay.
So that time, of course, he was doing good for himself. The only concern we had then that payment never used to come on time, and it asked for a lot of investments.
Right.
So then I realized, when I was as I was growing up and as I was pursuing my MBA, so one of my friend told that, boss, you have a very good natural instinct in understanding finance as a subject very well. Plus, you are very good in networking. You are having an excellent communication skills. You are blessed to have a conviction power. So why
Sure.
don't you, look at financial services as an industry?
Great.
So that provoked me to think about it, and then I decided, okay, let's explore. As it is, dad is not, requiring, any additional support in his business.
Okay.
So I said I might well explore and see how it pan out.
Great.
So that was the reason I, switched to financial services.
Great. So, as a first generation, into financial services, so did you face any challenges when you started your career?
Well, if I have to be very honest, I am a very optimist person. So
Okay.
I never took this as a challenge.
Right.
I actually started looking at it as taking it as an opportunity, seeing this as an
Wonderful.
opportunity. So what I actually did was, I had nothing to lose. So I just said that I will, try to explore this. I'll try to enjoy this journey. And then I know that as once you start, dipping into a water, you learn to swim. So that's
Right.
how I decided that gradually I'll step by step I'll learn the business. Well, so honestly, I didn't see this as a challenge.
Okay. So, how did your upbringing in a business-oriented family, help you to do your business and financial consulting better?
Well, actually, all Gujaratis are blessed. We all have everything in blood.
Yeah.
Both business,
Dhando.
both business as well as finance as a subject.
Correct.
So that actually make my job very easy.
Sure.
So I just thought that this is a deadly combination, and financial services as an industry was also growing.
Right.
I have heard a lot of growth prospect about this industry from my friends.
Okay.
So I thought that let's explore this
Sure.
and try to see how it turns out.
Right.
So this was basically a reason to kind of scale up my business, my practice. And other thing is that I always had this aspiration and vision that I want to create something on my own.
Okay.
I don't want to kind of do something where someone has already done it. I
Wow.
wanted to take this challenge myself,
Wonderful.
and I want to start from scratch.
Great.
So that was the reason actually.
So you always wanted to do something on your
On
own,
my
in
own.
spite of having a good setup of family.
Yes.
You still wanted to do
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Fantastic. Great. So Vishesh, what motivated you to move from engineering background to a very different ball game altogether, which is the financial services sector?
I'll actually like to address this question in two.
Sure.
First, I'll give you an honest answer.
Right.
So, actually, pursuing engineering was actually by accident. That time
Okay.
I was not honestly determined, neither I was sure that I want to pursue this. You कहते हैं ना in बचपन you just trying to follow the group.
Right.
So one
Right.
of my friend from my group said that I want to take an admission in engineering. It looks
Okay.
very interesting, and that those days engineering was like a fashion.
Yes, absolutely.
So I thought that I will also kind of follow,
Sure.
and then I pursued it.
Okay.
After completing my engineering, till that stage it was okay because it was more of a college experience,
Right.
and while we were learning new things,
Yeah.
so till that stage it was okay.
Okay.
But when I perceived career in this, then I realized that this is something which is not exciting. This is not my cup of tea, and I was not enjoying.
Okay.
And then when I started pursuing MBA, that time I was having a lot of interaction with a lot of people who were already having some kind of practical experience in different streams and different professions.
Okay.
So that time I got hold of one friend. He was talking a lot of interesting things, and I could relate. And these are the things which actually kind of ignite passion within me. And somehow I felt that okay, I should be belonging here.
Wow.
and that actually triggered for me to look at exploring something which could also be a passion for me.
Wonderful.
So that is how I got migrated from engineering to financial services.
Fantastic. So I think we should thank your friend who got you into financial
Absolutely,
services.
absolutely. I mean, honestly, I still, whenever I get in touch with him,
Yeah.
first thing I thank him that to ignite that trigger in me
Sure.
that I belong here.
Great.
So honestly, I do have a lot of regards for this thing.
Great. So Vishesh, when you started, how did you reach out to your initial set of customers? I'm sure people like you who are listening, who want to start but don't know how to go about it. So can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, so luckily, I always had this thing in mind that whatever you do, first thing what you'll have to do is you'll have to become your own customers first.
Okay.
So if you have this habit of buying it yourself first,
Right.
then naturally that conviction, that confidence shoots up.
Absolutely.
And then you don't hesitate to present those ideas to your prospect
Correct.
because you believe that is something that you have already done for yourself.
Yeah.
There should not be any harm for it to be replicated to someone who has a similar goal, similar objectives, similar kind of risk reward balance. So that is how I started with, so to be a first customer for any new things that I am trying to introduce to my firm. And then luckily, as I said, I'm blessed to be in Gujarati family, so where we have a lot of socialization, connect,
Yeah,
and all those
yeah.
stuff. I was very good, honestly, with networking and all. So
Okay.
it started with natural market. I was not hesitant or reluctant, as I said, because that principle of investing first your money
Yeah.
always helped.
Sure.
So I was very confident that I will not mind to explore my own natural market, contact of my dad, contact of my brother, and likewise.
Wow.
So first I gradually explored my entire natural market, and then it became organic. My happy customers gave me references. That's how I built up, and today it's a very regular process and affair. Like every alternate day, someone or the other client of mine says that my brother is looking for investment, my friend of
Oh.
is looking for investor, my colleague is looking for investment. Why don't you help? So this is how it helps to grow.
Fantastic, Vishesh. I think something that I learned is one is buying the solution for yourself
Yeah,
and
it's very
having
important. Very
your
important.
own conviction that has helped
True.
you. Second is you did not hesitate approaching your natural market. So
True.
again that's an entrepreneurship or a business skill that
Correct.
the networking skill that you talked about. That really helped you a lot.
Correct.
So that's amazing to know.
Basically, skin in the game will always help.
Great.
Skin
So
in the game
skill in
always
the game
help.
helps.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So Vishesh, when you started, did you face any initial hiccups? And also, how did you, kind of plot your day? Because you had a lot of other things also, like you,
Correct.
had to cater to. So how much time did you give to insurance per se in your day's time?
Actually, honestly, it was never that difficult.
Okay.
It all starts with your mindset.
Sure.
So how you take particular thing is all dependent on that. So
Right.
as I said earlier, also I never take things as a challenge. I take this as an opportunity. So and luckily, what happens? This is a subset of what I was already doing. So when I was offering mutual funds, when I was talking about stocks with my clients, real estate, gold, there is this subject is also equally important.
Right.
Insurance. Unfortunately there is a lot of gap in terms of understanding and putting insurance in a right frame.
Sure.
So what I did is I said to investors, look, we are in a journey of wealth creation,
Correct.
and when we plan things like mutual fund or stocks or gold, it's basically we are planning with a mindset that everything is going to be certain and it's going to happen the way you think.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we know that is
Yeah.
always going to be an uncertainty.
Correct.
And insurance caters that subject. So
Wonderful.
where I educate my investors, look, insurance is not a integral part of your wealth creation, but at the same time it is very important to make a plan B, which is to plan for uncertainties.
Uncertainties.
And that's how people started taking my conviction as their conviction, and they realized that it is important. And luckily, as I said, every product or every industry evolves.
Right.
As it kept evolving,
Hmm.
lot of new features, lot of new benefits, lot of things which are wrong earlier were undone.
Right.
So earlier days, what used to happen, people started understanding that insurance अगर आप बात करते हो प्रोडक्ट के, so it comes with lot of extra cost that may hamper the return.
Correct.
But I will just give you an example. You live for that matter. So ULIP earlier used to have a very heavy upfront loading and charging and all those stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And these days we are talking about zero allocation charge,
correct.
low mortality cost,
Absolutely.
technically no administration cost,
Correct.
fund management cost at par with what mutual funds are charging.
Absolutely.
So there is no harm looking at this.
Sure.
And other angle is that okay, when you talk about investments, it is not only about returns, it is more of risk management. And I
Wonderful.
personally feel that insurance add to a risk management quotient far better than what the other traditional conventional product adds. So I think overall as a mix of the products, insurance is very important in two aspect. One is, as I said, to plan for uncertainties, and more importantly to plan for your risk management quotient of the side. And yes, luckily today, in India, I mean unlucky, I mean unfortunately in India today nothing is tax free, everything is
Yeah.
taxable. Insurance again is a blessing,
Correct.
where you still have an opportunity to certain extent,
Yeah.
where you can get a tax free return also when you make
Absolutely.
certain investments. So I think with this three as a win-win proposition, I think investors will definitely want to have certain products, certain types of products in their portfolio to make their overall mix look very good. So I don't see honestly that's as a challenge. In fact, that is an opportunity,
So,
and
okay.
it will keep growing.
Great. So I think your hiccup, you turned it into an opportunity. I would
Exactly.
say, that's what you said, that I never take it as a challenge.
Yes. Yes.
And I think you put it across very beautifully, that,
True.
uncertainty, risk management,
Risk management.
and also the returns now,
Taxation.
taxation, etc. So Vishesh, taking the entire conversation forward, how does one make it big as a life insurance consultant? What's your take on that?
See, it's pretty simple. Whenever you are trying to come across any new thing, the first thing you will try to do is the broader picture, like how the industry is today. So luckily in India, when we talk about financial services, it's still evolving. It's
Right.
not in 10% of what we are looking at.
Correct.
So if we compare our insurance industry with already advanced economies, we feel that there is a lot of work to be done. And that's where the opportunity quotient comes into mind. And then we always try to take the advantage of early entrant.
Yeah.
And then other aspect of insurance scalability is natural market, the trust should be there.
Sure.
So I always had this confidence that the kind of engagement what I've already created for myself, I have lot many people to talk to, where the trust issue is not going to be there.
Sure.
They naturally trust me.
Right.
All I have to make sure is that I only take that element of business which is relevant to them. I don't
Right.
want to kind of missell. I don't
Correct.
want to do a force selling.
Great.
If that thing is sorted,
Yeah.
then there's a long way to go. So I honestly feel that if this is an approach in every aspect of your work life, or for that matter even personal life,
Sure.
ethics, trust, honesty, sincerity,
Correct.
these are all very basic things.
Yeah.
And if you have these things within you,
Yeah.
and I don't see that you will struggle with any new things that come to you.
Sure. So Vishesh, how has your experience been with Bajaj Allianz Life as an organization?
Well, honestly, I have this habit, of betting on jockeys rather
Okay.
than riding on horse. I believe that if jockey is good enough to control, then horse can win the race. That's how I have grown up. So when I came to know that in Bajaj, these are the guys who are leading the show. So I immediately got convinced that my experience then with working with these people was amazingly good.
Sure.
And it was very easy for me to think about Bajaj, because these are the same people who are running the show now here in Bajaj.
Right.
So that was one strong reason for me to look at Bajaj. And then of course we all see, right, how the entire Bajaj ecosystem have grown. Not only this as an business, but all the other businesses of Bajaj has grown very very good.
Right.
So that was another good reason for me to look at Bajaj. And then third, of course, is the product. Where at the end of the day, people do matter, but at the
Right.
end of the day, what the business which we are into, products is equally important.
Absolutely.
And then I was trying to, when I was discovering these products of Bajaj, I genuinely came and felt that yeah, there are certain ideas which are too good, to be looked at. And that was a reason for me to build my conviction for Bajaj. And then I started my journey with Bajaj, and then I saw the way things are progressive.
Yeah.
in terms of technology, in terms of people, in terms of product. These are all very integral part of the business,
Right.
and where I felt very secured. So, and of course, the last thing is reward. So when you have good team, when you have good product, when you have technology to support and grow your business, naturally it results into the reward for clients in
Sure.
terms of return that they
Sure.
generate, reward for client in terms of risk management angle of the
Yeah.
portion,
Yeah.
and most importantly that you also feel that you are doing something good for your clients, and which will give you that confidence which is required. And of course this very opportunity of interacting with you, where you're allowing me to showcase my journey, that is another angle, where we feel that there's a loyalty quotient. If you're doing good, in turn they will do good for you, and mutually we grow with each other.
Great.
So that keeps inspiring me to work with organizations like Bajaj, and for that matter many other whom I'm already working with.
Sure, sure. And Vishesh, honestly, it's actually our pleasure to hear from you because you have such an inspiring story and inspiring journey. So all I could gather is the leadership team at
Yes,
Bajaj made a
very
big
important.
difference. The way the
True.
organization and the partner companies or the parent, the
True.
sister concerns or system companies have also grown as a group.
Group.
Bajaj has grown so well. The products has also been in
True.
very innovative, competitive. You also mentioned about technology,
Technology.
wherein the digital tools also
True.
sort of make
Sorry, I forgot one important thing:
sure.
the learning, the training.
Yeah.
So that team of Bajaj, genuinely feel they stand way out compared to many other acquaintances where I already am acquainted. So that is also an additional angle.
That's
So I
beautiful
think
to
it's
know.
overall a good package to work with.
Great. So Vishesh, any tips you have for our newly joined distributors to be successful at Bajaj Allianz Life? Yeah.
First, I'll try to address that any insurance consultant or any person who is trying to join this as a industry, they need to bring think from two aspects. One, the growth
Right.
that this insurance industries will offer them, and more importantly that noble profession. See, like for example, today we all respect doctor, because we believe that he is the one or she is
Yeah.
the one who is going to save my life or who is
Correct.
going to cure my illness.
True.
That's why we have a very different respect for him.
Yeah.
Chartered accountants or CA, again we have a very huge
Yeah.
respect, because we
Absolutely.
believe that he is helping us save tax,
Yeah.
guide us to plan things accordingly.
Correct.
Likewise, I feel this it equally important. In fact, I would rate this above, because doctor will only cure illness. Insurance consultant will also take care of things when things are uncertain.
Right.
So this is where insurance as a consultant should think that they are going to be attached to that noble cause of individual's life. That's point number one. That's a broader picture.
Right.
Now the important aspect, as I keep saying, when you are getting engaged into anything, then you have to think across, who is the people who are behind the scene,
Right.
like, including the top management to the person who is going to work with you on a day-to-day
Correct.
affair.
Correct. Correct.
That's where I have personally experienced a very happy engaging with Bajaj as a overall package. Product, I have already said
Right.
that we have fantastic products. We are
Right.
industry leader products with us.
Sure.
The third enabler is technology, like tools like digital assist or install learn. There are many initiatives. I mean, honestly, we are bombarded with so many things that I mean, the latest introduction about WhatsApp chat box and all, where AI comes into picture. So it's like you feel that you are working as an institution yourself. So that package is very very encouraging. And then once these things are in shape, once these are in place, all you have to do is that you have to just use that to your client's benefit, which in turn will turn to organic growth for yourself. So very simple and sweet and short message for a new ICs joining Bajaj, if in case I have to tell, is that you have to be ready,
Yeah.
that you should be able to explore to the 100% potential, because there's no doubt that Bajaj will keep giving you many enablers. It's up to you how you are able to optimize and utilize it to your strength, and make sure that you utilize the 100% capabilities which Bajaj is trying to install in you.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, by the way. It means a lot to
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's mutual.
Thank you.
It's mutual.
So, Vishesh, trust is also extremely crucial in this industry, and you've mentioned that yourself multiple times. How do you see Bajaj Allianz Life also displaying that with the clients that we have? especially with different demographics of clients and the younger generation also that you must be catering to, and they also would like to know more about planning their finances. So how do you think we have a role there?
Well, what I loved the most as far as Bajaj Allianz is concerned, they always try to put themselves in customers' shoes first.
Sure.
So be it a customer who is aging 70, or be it a customer who is just starting his career.
Sure.
So like for example, in the age bracket of 20, 25 and all.
Right.
So while they put themselves in the shoes, they realize that what are the things that are essentials, and at the same time equally important, keeping in mind the current pace of the world.
Right.
So that's where when I said technology, so
Yeah.
technology is something where, see, product may be good and it may be a very good thing to offer, but how you make those product reach to
Yeah.
your end user is equally important.
Absolutely.
So your initiatives of WhatsApp tech, chat box and all, your digital tools, the digital enablers, website itself is so very user friendly. Interface has to be very very user friendly.
Right.
So in all this aspect, I felt that ki Bajaj is genuinely doing a very good work. As I said, the merit of products is equally important.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, if, for example, if I have to think myself as an investor, I will gauge anything in three, four aspect. First and foremost, whether that product really needs to be there in my kitty.
Right.
So that's where I will realize that okay, these are my goals, these are my objectives. Is this product going to meet my goal and objective? Answer is yes, because we have multi products. We have many opportunities which can cater to very different goals of very different individuals. So
Sure.
that's where I feel we have been doing excellent work. The second thing is how cost effective that offering is going to be for us.
Sure.
So today, competition is very cutthroat.
Yeah.
Everything, it's not only features and benefit, but at what cost that features and benefit comes is equally important.
Sure.
And especially this young generation who are all internet savvy.
Yeah.
We are seeing a huge disruption in where people are buying things,
Correct.
from Amazon and all likes of the world.
Sure.
Where the mentality has become that I want to
Yeah.
have cheap, I want to have direct.
Correct.
So that's where I personally feel that Bajaj has been very very instrumental. Their thinking force team has been genuinely very very proactive, and they make sure that the product is not compromised just because they are trying to offer that at a cheaper cost.
Sure.
So that is one angle where I feel that you guys are doing really very good. And last and most important thing is the experience, not only before that product is procured, after that product is procured. That's
Yeah.
it's very important. And that's
Beautifully
where
said.
again
Yeah.
that's where again I genuinely feel that you guys are doing great value addition for your investors. Once the product has been sold, we have found many losing interest on that particular client.
Right.
But here is one, of course there are many others as well, but I personally feel that my personal experience with you guys has been tremendous. Where we give a lot of importance to customer who are already having the product, and they just want as a non-financial transaction services. So that's where I feel it's a complete 360-degree loop. And of course, when you talk about insurance, the important thing again here is, in case of unfortunate events, how well you cater your investor in terms of claim settlement, in terms of any other services that is equally critical.
Right.
And there are black and white figures to
Correct.
show that
Correct.
ki Bajaj has been equally strong in that ground. So it's like overall package that has been given very nicely to investors, not only to have the good experience before but after as well. So
Great.
yeah, that is something which is very important.
So beautifully said, Vishesh. And like you said that the complete package is designed for various life goals of
True.
different demographics of client, whether it's somebody at 70 or whether the
70,
younger
yeah.
generation also. So the products are also designed keeping the needs
Needs of the
of different
investors.
clients.
True.
That is in mind. Great. Thank you for that. That means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Vishesh, how do you handle difficult or crucial conversations, regarding financial planning with your clients?
Again, very interesting question. Yes, at times I had difficulties and challenges, but it was not a difficulty or challenge that I was not in position to address the requirement, because as I said, I have a habit of going prepared,
Right.
and I always want to be ahead of the time.
Correct.
So most of the things I am able to cater to.
Okay.
The biggest difficulty and challenge is to take the mandates of investors which are honestly unrealistic.
Ah,
Like I mentioned, over last 4 years, if you have to talk about equity as a markets, they have grown one side up, and making a return of 30-40% was becoming like a cakewalk.
correct.
Tom, Dick, and Harry stocks used to do well.
Right.
Any businesses which are not having a fundamental strength, they used to play a valuation game and demand any numbers.
Sure.
So
Sure.
such kind of things was becoming a new normal.
Yeah.
Since COVID till now. Luckily, since September until now, market have shown the other side of the coin to, especially for the new investors.
Sure.
So I was initially having a struggle to make investor understand, look boss, having an expectation of 30% or 40% is not normal.
Yeah.
You can't expect everything at all point in time to grow at that level. You have to somewhere be modest, and I keep explaining them, at the end of the day, on a longer curve, things will shape up to the core, which
Right.
is your GDP plus inflation kind of growth.
Right.
So I give them examples. So for example, if I'm living in a country like India, and if India's GDP is expected to grow at 7%, inflation remains around 5-6%, then to expect 12-13% growth plus the alpha to be generated by the experts, because you are giving your money to the
Correct.
expert.
Correct.
So that alpha you can consider 2-3%.
Right.
So having an expectation of 15-18% is a fair bet. But if you continue to expect 30%, 40%,
Right.
then this is something which is not realistic.
Sure.
And my biggest challenge is to convince people with this,
Yeah.
that this is not sustainable.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, as we all say, that investors are always king, because they are the one who is going to invest.
Right.
So there is nothing like right or wrong.
Sure.
But what is right is right. Fundamentally what is right is right.
Sure.
And if I'm not able to put these things across, then this is a biggest challenge.
Sure.
In terms of making people understand how your expectations should be set right.
Sure.
So
Sure.
that's largely a biggest challenge, honestly, as far as challenge, if may ask.
Great. So what I could understand, Vishesh, is, you know, maybe clients have an expectation of certain amount of return.
True.
However, your honesty to approach,
Yes.
these kind of crucial conversation helps or has always helped you.
True.
Because I think, the transparency and trust between you and the client has helped you have crucial conversations so that eventually they take a better decision towards their life
In
goal.
fact, I can recall one more thing.
Sure.
So we all have a tendency to compare,
Right.
and there is no harm
Yeah.
if that comparison is apple to apple.
Sure.
If that comparison is meant to be in a positive manner.
Right.
So we come across many investors. They always compare. Like, boss, look, our portfolio is growing at 24%,
Yeah.
but my neighbor, when we were talking on a morning walk, he said that he made a 40% return in just 1 week by investing in one stock. Then when I probe further, then I asked him, have you asked him, apart from this one stock, where alternately has invested and how that has fared out? Has he told you that he has also invested parallelly in another stock which has not given, forget about given return, it has gone down by 20%? Or ask him a question, how his entire portfolio is growing. When we are discussing 24% CAGR, it's your entire investment with us, not just one stock. And you fail to understand that when your friend is telling you that he made 40% return in one stock, he is only sharing that one experience of his which has
Sure.
went this crazy.
Right.
He is not disclosing what other things he is doing and how is the experience in those other ideas. And more importantly, at a consolidated portfolio level, how his entire investment is growing. So this is something again very important for investors to understand. And another angle to this is, when you gave me a mandate, or when we take a mandate from investors, as I keep saying, that for us, we believe that our job is to do a risk management.
Sure.
Return will always be a byproduct.
Right.
So whenever we do a discussion of risk management, we first understand that what kind of risk tolerances that particular investors may have, and at the same time we correct them with the time frame they give us for. So for example, it can't be one single answer that I am risk averse or I am risk taker.
Sure.
It also depends on what kind of time frame you have to meet that return on investment or that particular financial goals. So to put it simple way, like for example, if any investor who has a investment appetite of just less than 3 years, naturally their risk appetite has to be lower.
Correct.
Whether he is a gambler as a profession himself, or whether he takes many chances in his personal life, but he can't replicate those things when he's investing on his hard-earned money for 3 years.
Right.
That is something which people not understand, and we find it very difficult and challenging to make them understand that was risk is important.
Sure.
Understanding risk is even important, and most important challenge for us is to make them understand their own behavioral risk.
Sure.
Then it goes at a ego level, and it is very fine tuned that we have to be extremely cautious that we don't hurt his emotions, we don't hurt his sentiments when we are explaining his own behaviors.
Correct. Over the years, people have a natural mechanism of choosing, where they would like to take decision for their financial planning. There are multiple options today also.
True.
So why do you think people should come to financial consultants like you for a better decision maybe?
So answer lies in your question itself. If you could recall your question, you said personal finance. So that's where we add a lot of value. Unlike currently, with of course, with all due respect to their current practices and current methodologies to which they invest,
Right.
with all due respect to that, I only want to emphasize on word personal. That's where we add a lot of value.
Sure.
So what happens, unfortunately, I am also an ex-banker, I'm also an ex-wealth management boutique employee.
Right.
I work with multiple forums. But honestly, when I started my own since last 8 years now, only one thing I keep telling to my investors, that personal thing was always missing. Because when you are working with organization,
Yeah.
you are working with a purpose, you are working with an organized goals and organization's goals and objectives,
Sure.
which may be true for many, but necessarily it may not be true for you. Necessarily it may not work for you.
Right.
And that's where an individual like us, when we spend time with you to understand your goals, your objectives, your risk-taking capabilities, that's when that personal comes into true flavor.
Sure.
So that's one biggest advantage that we offer today. And second and foremost, the reality checks. See, you are only looking at convenience. You're only looking at saving some few bucks, for making your investments
Sure.
while going direct. But what about risk management? What about filtering that what is good for you? What about understanding that this product will cater my this requirement or not?
Sure.
That is missing.
Sure.
So that's where when we have a personal conversation, we bring a lot of filters and check into place, and investors ends up taking informed decisions.
Excellent.
While the conventional way of thing is they make decisions,
Sure.
they invest,
Sure.
but it's never an informed way of making an investment. Here we make a informed way of making an investments. And last, today thanks to Google will answer all your question,
Right.
where to go, how to go, and all, where to invest. But Google will never say, now it's time to come out. Now it's time to exit from this particular asset class and move to this asset class.
Wow.
That's where we come very handy. We not only tell them where to go, we also tell them where to stop, where to take a turn, and where to go further, so that your journey becomes convenient as per your destination. So this is something which we have been adding to our investors kitty, and I hope investors understand this aspect of investments very very seriously, so that they don't only end up making their investment decision by looking only at convenience,
Right.
or only at cost cutting as an element. They also understand informed decision is important, where to stop, where to pause is important, and how to change your allocations as the time keeps changing.
Right.
So another angle, like today it's a short lived world. There are many such conventional, boring, non lucrative, I don't want to narrate this, because still there are many alternatives available. But let's say the concept like negative real return. See, erstwhile my grandfather enjoyed a fixed deposit interest rate of 20%, 12%, even very recently. But today we are talking about fixed income interest rate of around 7-8%.
Right.
Now, if I bring taxation and inflation into consideration,
Correct.
investor end up making negative real returns,
Sure.
which is not informed by Google, which is not informed by online platforms. This is where we feel that we will be able to bring natural differences in the way they may think and take informed decisions. That's all I
Fantastic.
want to say.
Thank you, Vishesh. It was truly wonderful to hear, the way you think, the way you operate, your entire journey. It was so inspiring. You took up you I some takeaways that I have is you don't look at challenge, but you look at it as an opportunity. You also believe in, knowledge, and also keeping a lot of honesty and transparency with your clients. Also the spiritual angle that you got in, especially, at a very young age, having a great business setup and also having a spiritual angle connecting to your business. It's truly an honor, to hear from you, and thank you for your time. Everybody who is hearing you and your story would at least, we hope, that take an informed decision about, this profession, this business. And Bajaj Allianz Life is extremely grateful that you did give us time, and it was great to have you today in our Life Gold Heroes talk. So thank you once again, Vishesh.
In fact, I should thank you that you have given me this opportunity to present my life story, which was always a passion for me. And I am lucky that you gave me this opportunity so that I can encourage many, people who are aspiring to build their career for noble profession, I would say, like insurance. So yeah, it's a win-win situation, and I hope you will give me such opportunities in future as well.
For sure, it's our pleasure to hear from you. Thank you, Vishesh, once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
समझो हो गया